Take a look. Take a look.
All over the world.
The problems are many, and solutions not easy.
Get the wisdom.
We live in a cruel world. The hungry and homeless are crying for mercy.
All over the world.
They live in a cruel world.
Come on, everybody. The major thing that was demonstrated today was simply the anger of many of the different young homeless residents. I myself was homeless at one point. I have close friends that still are, and also that once were as well. The one thing that I personally mentioned to Rosendahl today was the fact that this is segregation. It has nothing to do with race, it has to do with class. People are being ostracized and being separated from the community simply because they can't afford an apartment or a house, and the reason they cannot afford an apartment or a house is because all of the very things that make Venice what it is are slowly being destroyed, and no one is sitting and talking to the people who have helped create this situation, which are unfortunately newcomers to Venice who buy the property but then turn around and say, we don't want you here, we don't want you to be a part of this, we want to keep this for ourselves. So this very much is segregation. Everyone is welcome in Venice, and they're trying to turn it into another Santa Monica or Pacific Palisades where only the few and the select are allowed to be and anyone else can just leave.
It's finally a good day when the homeless people in this community that are getting attacked get a chance to have conference with the politician and present some of our solutions. Unfortunately, what's happened in Venice until today, we feel, is that the councilman has been listening to a lot of developers, and all you have to do is go down to Venice and you can see it. We've had artists and a counterculture community in Venice for 60 years, and these RV attacks, these characterizing people as transients, it's been nothing but a hate campaign. We came here today to turn it around, and what's really disgusting and sad is it took 3 deaths in the last 2 months to get to this point. But it is a positive turnaround, and we're looking forward now to getting the community together instead of playing these games about transient who belongs in a home and who doesn't, who belongs, who deserves support, rich people or poor people.
I had several questions I wanted to ask. One was, if you're really working on the safe parking problem, and if you haven't found anything yet, and why has the harassment of RV people intensified, which is definitely what I'm getting from everybody here. I've been going to Venice for 10 years, and I know these people. They've made the boardwalk, which is also a problem and needs to be addressed because it's being destroyed as well. But anyway, what's the impetus behind the step up on the harassment or the intense movement against RV people? And he said, well, I can't answer that, but you can, maybe Captain Peters has something to say about it. And I said, okay, I'll take it outside the meeting so as not to waste anyone's time. And so he said, great, that was his cue to terminate the meeting. He ended it right there. And so then I went up to Captain Peters and said, would you care to address this? And he said, well, actually, it hasn't intensified. Everything's gone up. I mean, we're blah, 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 and very few RV people have been ticketed or arrested or, and then I started to say something about towing, and we never even got that far. So then he said he couldn't comment on any of it because of the recent lawsuit, and I said, does that mean that this public information is no longer public? And he says, yeah, that's about right. So I came away from this meeting with more questions than answers. And I'm glad everybody thinks the community is going to work together. I still need a little more evidence before I'll believe it. The community may, but their councilmen may not be part of that community.
We live in a cruel world. The hungry and homeless are crying for mercy.
All over the world.
They live in a cruel
Come on,
world.
everybody.
They have the right, the human right, to live life decently.
Do I hate? Do I love?
They have the right, the human right, to live life